It was 2 a.m. I was driving home from work, far from the safety of the city. The road was pitch black, with only the headlights of my car cutting through the darkness. The air was unnervingly still. I could hear the engines hum, and nothing else. The silence felt like it was suffocating me. I just wanted to get home. Then it happened. In the middle of the road, a figure suddenly appeared. The headlights illuminated a black silhouette, tall and featureless. No face, no clothes, nothing. I slammed on the brakes, heart racing. I stared at it for a few seconds, frozen in disbelief. Am I seeing things? I thought. But no, it was real. The figure stood motionless in the center of the road. I honked the horn. No response. I flashed my lights at it. Still, nothing. My heart hammered in my chest. I couldn't just sit there. I turned the wheel, pushing the gas to pass it. As I sped by, I glanced to my right. Its head slowly turned toward me, but it wasn't a face. It was a hollow, empty void where its features should have been. My pulse surged, panic setting in. I didn't dare look back, speeding off into the night, but just moments later, I glanced at the rearview mirror. My blood froze. The figure was sitting in the back seat of my car. It was still, silent, as though it had always been there. A cold sweat broke out across my skin. "What do you want?" I shouted, but no answer came. My hands shook as I gripped the wheel. I pressed the accelerator, pushing the car faster. The figure didn't move. It just sat there, staring, suffocating me with its presence. I couldn't take it anymore. In a burst of desperation, I slammed on the brakes, the car screeching to a halt. My heart felt like it would tear from my chest. I spun around, prepared to confront whatever was behind me, but the back seat was empty. I breathed a sigh of relief, trying to steady myself. It's just the stress, I thought. But when I looked out the window, I saw something in the distance. From between the trees along the roadside, a dark figure emerged, followed by more. They weren't alone. There were others, tall, featureless, shadow-like figures, watching me, silent, still, unmoving. It was like they were waiting for something. Panic gripped me. I stepped on the gas. My heart pounded in my ears as I sped through the darkness, but it wasn't enough. The engine's roar couldn't drown out my fear. I kept my eyes on the road ahead, desperate to get away. Then, without warning, the radio crackled to life. The static grew louder and louder, and then a voice, low, guttural, cut through the noise. "We're watching you." My stomach dropped. I pulled the car to the side of the road, panic consuming me. I threw open the door and looked around. The night was deathly quiet, but I could feel it. Something, or someone, was out there, watching me. I slammed the door and rushed back into the car, my hands slick with sweat. I floored the gas pedal, praying I could make it home. When I finally reached my house, I rushed inside and locked the door behind me. I flicked on every light and checked every corner of the house. Everything seemed normal, but I could still feel it. That dark, suffocating presence lingered in the air, as if it had followed me. That night, I didn't sleep a wink. Every creak of the floorboards, every gust of wind outside, sent a jolt of fear through me. At dawn, I saw a shadow outside my window. I pulled the curtains shut, but the shadow didn't vanish. It stood there, unmoving, waiting, watching. I haven't turned off the lights in my house for a week, and I know one thing for sure. Just as that thing climbed into my car that night, one day, it will enter my home. And when it does, there will be nowhere left to hide. What happened to me that night, I still don't understand. But one thing I know for certain, this was just the beginning. If you ever find yourself on a dark, lonely road, don't forget to check the back seat. You may already have a passenger.